When her mother wanted to take Jeongnyeon home, director Kong forbade her. Because Jeongnyeon was her student and part of the group. Then director Kong told Jeongnyeon to come in and ask her mother to talk to her if she wanted to take her home. It turned out that they were friends when they were teenagers. They both became pansori singer. And at that time Mrs. Gozeon gained high popularity and now they are destined to meet again. But even so, Mrs. Gozeon still wanted to take Jeongnyeon back home. Because her mother knew Jeongnyeon nature that would try her best even though many would bring her down. Director Kong felt that Mrs. Gozeon had given up a position that other pansori singers could only dream of. She wondered if her mother had ever listened to her daughter singing. When her mother listened to Jeongnyeon sing, she shed tears. Because Jeongnyeon was like herself when she was a teenager, who was stubborn and wanted to sing even though her father opposed her. Jeongnyeon was still curious why her mother forbade her from singing, even though her mother used to be a singer. She will earn a lot of money for the family and also achieve her dream as a gakjuk actor. But her mother still doesn't allow it. She keeps asking Jeongnyeon to come home with her. Jeongnyeon feels that if she goes home, then her life will be like before, cleaning shells and selling them at the market. Then her mother explains that she has experienced being a pansori singer, but now she doesn't get anything. She just doesn't want Jeongnyeon have the same fate as her. But Jeongnyeon is sure that she won't have the same fate as her mother, so don't get in the way of her dream. Hearing that, her mother doesn't consider Jeongnyeon as her daughter anymore. Young-in, Young-seo's older sister visits Mayran and meets director Kong. Young-seo always leaves immediately when she stops by the house and doesn't see her sister. That's why she has to come to Mayran. Then Young-in gives an invitation to director Kong. She will hold a homecoming recital and hopes that director Kong can come.
네.
They both enjoy being together as sister at a cafe where Jeongnyeon works. Young-seo was shocked when she saw Jeongnyeon singing there. At first Jeongnyeon sang confidently until she saw Young-seo sitting in the audience. Director Kong came to Jeongnyeon and asked if it was true that she sang in the city for money. She was very angry because the trainees of the Mayran troupe sang for money. This was very embarrassing and tarnished the troupe's reputation. She felt that Jeongnyeon had no self-esteem as an artist. Then Jeongnyeon apologized to the director because she needed money and didn't think clearly. She had no choice but to work at the cafe. At first, she only worked as a waitress. But because something happened, she then sang, but she never intended to sing for money. Then the director asked the reason why Jeongnyeon worked at the cafe. And Jeongnyeon chose not to be able to tell her. Director Kong felt that Jeongnyeon had ruined Mayran's reputation and was not ready to be an artist, let alone an actor. Seeing that, Juran could only cry and Okgyung also felt disappointed. Jeongnyeon was kicked out of there and Juran could only apologize because it all happened because of her. But Jeongnyeon was grateful because Juran was not found out. She asked Juran not to cry, because if Juran cried it would make her cry too. She asked Juran not to tell the director that Juran worked there. Juran was very worried because Jeongnyeon had no place to go. Jeongnyeon hugged her friend and asked her to wait, because she would do anything to return to Mayran. Okgyung picked up Jeongnyeon and took her to her house. She would talk to the director after she calmed down, but according to Hyeon, the director would not forgive her easily. And Okgyung would look for another theater for Jeongnyeon if the director did not forgive her. But Jeongnyeon didn't want to, because she just wanted to return to Mayran. Then Okgyung asked her to stay at her house for a while. After Okgyung left, Hyeon asked Jeongnyeon to use her brain. Because if the director knew Okgyung allowed Jeongnyeon to stay at her house, then she would get into big trouble. Hearing that, Jeongnyeon said that she would not cause any more trouble. Jeongnyeon ate steamed bun alone in a cold place, and at that time she remembered Duran. She ate while holding back her tears, because she missed her friend. And when she wanted to pay, she didn't find the money she kept in her bag. Knowing that she couldn't pay for the steamed bun, the shop owner took her to the police station. Jeongnyeon explained to the police that someone stole her money. The police still wanted Jeongnyeon to pay for her steamed bun if she didn't want to go to jail. But Jeongnyeon didn't have acquaintance who can help her, so she was put in jail. And when she remembered, there was a producer who gave her a business card. Park Jong-guk came to the police station and Jeongnyeon was able to be free thanks to him. Jeongnyeon promised that she would return the favor and Mr. Park asked her not to worry about it. Then Jeongnyeon asked about his offer to make her a star. Jeongnyeon wanted to make her a singer because that was the only way she could stay in Seoul and not return to her hometown. And that was what Mr. Park was waiting for. But Jeongnyeon had a condition that to become a singer, she would not take advantage of Maron's fame. Mr. Park agreed, and from now on he would guide Jeongnyeon. Then Mr. Park invited her to the studio and Jeongnyeon signed a work contract with Mr. Park even though she didn't really understand the contents of the contract. After that he invited Jeongnyeon to meet Patricia Kim. She is the woman who will teach Jeongnyeon to sing. Patricia recognized her when she sang at a cafe. And Jeongnyeon will live at Patricia's house until her debut. Without further ado, Patricia immediately trained Jeongnyeon to sing. But Jeongnyeon's dressing style bothered her until she couldn't focus. She decided to fix Jeongnyeon's dressing style. Then Patricia invited her to shop for shoes and clothes. She also tidying up Jeongnyeon's makeup and hair. Not only that, she also trained her to walk so that she would look confident. Meanwhile, Duran was still sad because Jeongnyeon wasn't there. Park Chorak and her friends were still teasing Jeongnyeon for only looking for money. Then Yang Seo told them to concentrate on practicing because they got low grades. Don't badmouth people who are no longer there. Feeling defended, Duran thanked Yang Seo, but Yang Seo didn't do it to get her thanks. And Duran was still confused about who actually told the director that Jeongnyeon worked at a cafe. Duran comes to Patricia's house to meet Jeongnyeon. They hug because they miss each other and Duran sees the bird carving that she once gave. Duran still feels sad because Jeongnyeon is suffering. But Jeongnyeon is better now and doesn't think about the group anymore. She will be successful as a pop singer now. They say television will dominate the world. And she will be a successful star. Jeongnyeon is sure that Duran will be the main female actor, like Hyeon. If she appears on stage, then Jeongnyeon will be the audience who sees her. Mr. Park invites Jeongnyeon to go to the soprano singer's homecoming recital. She is Hyo Young-in, Yang Seo's older sister. And Jeongnyeon is surprised when she finds out they are going to her house. They arrive and see Ok-young, Hyeon and Director Kong. Although Director Kong ignores her, Jeongnyeon has to raise her head because she will shine soon. Jeongnyeon can only see Ok-young from afar. It seems like she misses her. And Yang Seo sits next to her mother who didn't blink at her daughter's performance. Mr. Park introduced Jeongnyeon to the important guests there, and Hyeon, Ok-young and Director Kong also commented on Jeongnyeon, who came with a producer. Ok-young called Jeongnyeon and asked her to sit next to her. She asked about Jeongnyeon's debut as a singer. Jeongnyeon replied that it was quite fun because she practiced singing with a great teacher. Ok-young hoped she wouldn't go too far because Jeongnyeon was born a performer. So Ok-young was sure she would be great as a singer. But Jeongyeon liked it the most when she sang Pansori. At that time there was sadness in Jeongnyeon's eyes that she couldn't hide. And Yang Seo felt that the producer would only make her a product. He bought her nice shoes and clothes and made her learn to sing. All of that was for the sake of making her a product that was suitable for television. Jeongnyeon felt that her sharp tongue never dulled. But Jeongnyeon knew that Yang Seo wasn't the one who reported her to director Kong about her working at the cafe. Although her attitude was problematic, Jeongnyeon knew Yang Seo's character. That she is not someone who will leak someone's secret. Yang Seo's father introduces his children to important guests, Congressman Yoon and his wife. They praise Youngin's voice, and at that time Yang Seo said that she learned gakjuk. It is a combination of singing, dancing and acting, and Yang Seo is sure that his wife will like it if she watches it. They are sure that Yang Seo is the main character and her mother confirms it. But Yang Seo explains that she is just a trainee and she is working hard to get into the official appearance. And her mother seems a bit disappointed to hear what Yang Seo said. When Jeongnyeon rests because her feet hurt from wearing high heels, she saw Yang Seo being scolded by her mother. Yang Seo felt her mother was embarrassed because of her. She always knew her mother felt this way. Her mother was embarrassed because she did gakjuk. Is it because gakjuk is not opera? Hearing that her mother felt that everyone in the world knows that there are classes in work and also in art. Yang Seo doesn't care what people think, as long as her mother is proud of her. Can't her mother take her side? But her mother gave a cruel answer, that the only reason she didn't break up with Yang Seo after she decided to play gakjuk was because she was still her daughter. Her mother remained patient even though she couldn't get the main role. So, it was time for Yang Seo to make her mother proud. And at that time Jeongnyeon nudged something that made Yang Seo know she was there. Yang Seo misunderstood and thought Jeongnyeon was eavesdropping even though Jeongnyeon had explained. Yang Seo was angry because she felt betrayed by her. Even though Jeongnyeon accidentally heard it, she still apologized, but Yang Seo felt an apology was not enough. And Jeongnyeon felt that she was angry with her mother, but took it out on Jeongnyeon. Hearing that, Yang Seo slapped her and Jeongnyeon slapped her back. Because Jeongnyeon couldn't be patient with Yang Seo anymore.